Okay, this next guy's making his comedy debut here at Don't Tell Your Unity. I want you to know something. He is no joke, but he knows every single joke ever written. Won't you please welcome Lee David Canapetti?
I don't know about every joke ever written. I know a couple. Anyway, here's an 80-year-old couple. Now, a few years ago, I used to tell us they were 65, but now I had to make them 80. And they've been dating for a while, and the man says, well, tonight's the night we have sex. And they did. And after they're laying back in bed, and the man is thinking, God, if I'd have known she was a virgin, I'd have been much more gentle with her. And the woman is laying there, and she's thinking, my God, if I'd have known he could actually get it up, I'd have taken off my pantyhose. So, Helen's making a breakfast of fried eggs for her husband, Bob. And all of a sudden, Bob bursts into the kitchen, and he says, careful, Helen, careful. Put in some more butter. You need more butter. Turn them. You're cooking too many at once. Helen, you're cooking too many. Oh my God, we need more butter. Helen, where are we going to get more butter now? Jeez, you're not listening to me. They're going to stick. You never listen to me. Never when you're cooking. Come on, Helen, please. Did you salt them? Come on, you know you always forget to use the salt. Use the salt, Helen, use the salt, Helen stares at him and she says, what in the world's wrong with you? Don't you think I could cook a couple of eggs? And Bob says, I just want you to know what it feels like when I'm driving. You guys all relate to that, right? So, two sharks are swimming in the ocean. One shark says to the other shark, hey, my ass burns. The other shark says, I told you not to eat that Mexican. And then there's the dyslexic agnostic insomniac who lies awake all night wondering if there really is a dog. Here's a thought. Once in a while I get one. If women are so damn perfect at multitasking, how come they can't have a headache and sex at the same time? I'm getting the evil eye from somebody. So, a bus pulls over to the curb and an Italian gentleman gets on. He sits down, takes out his cell phone, and he begins this animated conversation. Emma come first, and then I come. Then the two asses are coming together. Then I come again. Then the two asses are coming together again. Then I come again, be twice, come again, the last the one. There's an older woman sitting across the aisle. She looks over, she goes, that was disgusting. We don't talk about our sex lives in public like that. He says, who's talking about sex? I tell my friend how you spell a Mississippi. Guy's sitting at a bar and it's near closing. So many jokes are like that. Guy looks down the end of the bar and sees a woman sitting alone. Calls over the bartender and he says, hey, I'd like to buy a douchebag down the end of a drink. The bartender says, hey, buddy, we don't talk about our patrons like that in here, all right? The guy says, you're right, I'm sorry, but I'd still like to buy her a drink. Bartender goes down to the woman and he says, ma'am, gentleman over there would like to buy you a drink. What do you have? She goes, I'll have a vinegar and water. Would have been better a vinegar with a water back? I don't know. How about limericks? You guys like limericks? I like a few. How about this one? There once was a young man from Kent who had one so long that it bent. To save himself trouble, he stuck it in double, and instead of coming, he went. There was a young woman named Claire who had a magnificent pair. At least so I thought, till I saw one get caught on a thorn and begin to lose air. There was a young maid from Madras who had a beautiful ass. Not round and pink like you probably think. It was gray, had long ears, and ate grass. And my favorite one. There once was a fellow named Skinner who took a lovely lady to dinner. He wined her, dined her, reclined her. It was in her. Not Skinner, the dinner. Skinner was no beginner. He was in her before dinner. So, 52 years ago, I joined the Army. And immediately met this guy that came from some backwoods part of the country, and his real name was Rover, and he'd been drafted. Now, on the first morning in the Army, they issued him a comb. And that afternoon, the Army sheared all his hair off. On the second morning, they issued him a toothbrush. That afternoon, an Army dentist yanked out 7 of his teeth. On the third morning, they issued him a jockstrap. Nobody's seen him since. So now it's 3 o'clock in the morning. The couple sound asleep in bed, and all of a sudden there's a pounding on the door. Guy gets up, goes to the door, and standing in the pouring rain is a drunk. He says, "What do you want?" The drunk says, I need a push." The guy says, "Hey man, it's 3 in the morning. Sorry." Closes the door, goes back to bed. His wife says, "Who's that?" He says, "Some drunk wanted a push." He goes, "Oh, did you help him?" He goes, "No, I didn't help him. It's 3 in the morning and it's pouring rain out." His wife says, "You remember about 3 months ago our car broke down and these 2 guys came and helped us out? You know, God loves drunks too." The guy, "Oh, okay." Gets up, goes outside, pitch dark, pouring rain. He says, "Hey buddy, you still here? You still need a push?" The drunk says, yeah, I do." The guy says, "Well, where are you?" The drunk says, "I'm on the swings." So now from 3 o'clock in the morning, we go right to 6 o'clock at night, and it's the evening news. And the news anchor is about to give an interview nationwide. And he begins, "Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the last living ace pilot of World War I, Mr. Ole Svensson." And here sits this big old Swede. And the anchor gets right to it. And he says, "Tell us, Ole, what was your most harrowing experience?" Ole thinks for a minute, and he says, "Well, I'll tell you. I was flying back from a mission all alone when out of the sun comes these 3 Fokkers. I headed straight for the first Fokker, shot that Fokker down. I did a dive and a roll, I come up under the belly, the second Fokker, shot that Fokker down. I climbed up high, did a loop-the-loop, come down on top of the third Fokker, shot that Fokker down. All 3 Fokkers I shot down." The anchor's visibly shaken, and he quickly adds, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to explain that a Fokker, F-O-K-K-E-R, is a German airplane. Isn't that right, Ole?" And Ole says, "Yeah, that's true. But these 3 Fokkers was Messerschmitts." Thank you, everybody.